In a previous video, I recommended the Curve card for spending while abroad. However, I can no longer wholeheartedly recommend it. Now, before I explain why, let me explain to you what a Curve card is. Essentially, a card that allows you to link back to a existing Visa or MasterCard account, so therefore there's no requirement to open a new account. There's fee-free spending abroad and essentially ATM withdrawals allowed on cards that wouldn't otherwise allow ATM withdrawals. You also get the wholesale exchange rate that is used by MasterCard, so you get a decent exchange rate while spending abroad. And depending on what plan you select, there are other benefits like lounge passes and increased spending limits. Now, let me explain what went wrong. Now, I was looking to book a few hotels, do a couple of visas for my upcoming trip to Saudi Arabia. All of that was fairly straightforward. I've done transactions similar to this many times over on using the Curve card. However, the problem this time happened when I went to do a couple of visa transactions and pay for some hotels in the Saudi Arabian currency, which is not unexpected really, and is the whole purpose of why I would use a Curve card. Now everything looked fine. When I looked at the Curve app, the transactions were showing on there. When I checked the hotel app, the hotel was paid for. So no issues so far. It wasn't until a few days later where I decided to check my underlying bank account. So this was the bank account that was linked to the Curve card. And what I noticed shocked me. What I noticed was that each transaction that I had performed was essentially doubled. So for example, the visas were about I think about 30 odd quid. They were shown twice, and I did several visas for other family members. So essentially, I was each time I was paying for it twice. Now the worst one was when I did the hotel payment. That was for about £1,700, and essentially it took out £1,700 twice. Now you can imagine if you've got other bills and expenses going out of your account, then there's a risk that they may not have been paid because of Curve essentially taking that money out of your account. Now, what didn't help was that as soon as I noticed, I went on to try and get in touch with Curve. Now, this is where, unfortunately, Curve need to up their game, otherwise they're going to lose more and more customers. Essentially, there is no way to talk to a human being. You have to basically message them, but unfortunately, if you're a financial institution, you need to have someone to be able to speak to, because not every problem just fits neatly within a Q&A section. So the first problem I had was I messaged them on the app and I did not receive a response for essentially almost like 12 hours. Now what I did the following day was I proceeded to contact them via their Facebook page and Twitter page, and they then raised it with their support team, and it's at that point that someone actually got back to me. Now, while I was waiting for the support team, I decided to check out Google to see if there are others out there that have had similar issues, and it turns out that there are many out there that have had the exact same issues that I have had. So it seems like it's an ongoing problem with Curve. Now unfortunately for those people, there are some people out there that are still waiting for their money to be refunded back, which was starting to worry me a little, because I had some payments due to go out of my account imminently, and without that money in there, I'll come into other issues. Now, to Curve's credit, the support person was very prompt and did get back to me the following day to say that the money would be returned back to me and credited to my account by the end of the working day. And true to their word, the money did come back into my account, which is a relief. Now, I dread to think what would have happened if, one, I didn't actually check my underlying account and I just assumed everything was fine, and two, if my money wasn't returned back to me promptly. Now, apart from the trust that I've lost in Curve, which is one of the main reasons why I'll no longer be using Curve, the other reason was that I noticed on the big transactions that I made that I was being charged a fee, and I was a bit perplexed by that because I thought this was meant to be fee-free. Now, when I investigated further, I found that basically I was on the basic plan, which had a limit of £250 fee-free. Now, this had changed from what I previously signed up to. When I originally signed up to Curve, I believe there was a much higher limit. I think it was about £1,000, or probably even much higher, because I've been with them for several years now. Over the years, they've watered down the basic plan in order to try and get you to pay for the premium versions of their plan which have somewhat higher limits. Therefore, I can no longer wholeheartedly recommend Curve anymore. Now, I'm not going to leave you hanging. There are a few alternatives that you can sign up for. And number one, what you want to do is check what you have in your existing wallet to see if there are any accounts that allow you to spend abroad without any fees. Now, one thing I didn't realize was I already had an account that allowed me to spend abroad fee-free. It turned out that I was already paying for a packaged bank account with Nationwide. Now, the reason I was doing that already was because I wanted the breakdown cover, and one of the benefits of having that particular account was that you can essentially have unlimited fee-free transactions abroad. So this included ATM withdrawals and spending. As I had that account, there was no reason for me to sign up to anything further. However, as part of that journey, I decided to explore and investigate what accounts I could use. Now, one of the great resources that I tend to go to when looking at essentially anything money saving related is Money Saving Expert. Now, on that, they listed two particular accounts that I considered. This was the Starling account and the Chase account. Both of those are current accounts, so you do end up having to open another account, but you know, that's probably not a bad thing. And the advantages of both of those accounts is that, like the Nationwide account, they give you fee-free spending abroad and ATM withdrawals without any fees abroad. Those are two key things why you'd need a travel card. You could potentially open it in addition to your existing account and just use it just purely for travel purposes. So yeah, I can no longer wholeheartedly recommend Curve. With institutions like Curve or any financial institutions, you generally have that level of trust where transactions that you do with them are correct and true, and you don't really need to double check them. But it's unfortunate that with Curve I've had to do this, and I've also had to go back in time to check my previous transactions. Fortunately for me, it was a one-off, but judging by the comments in the forums that I've been on, it doesn't seem like it's a one-off problem in the wider context of Curve. Now, my recommendation to Curve, if you're watching this, please sort your back-end systems out. The last thing you want to do is lose customers based on IT errors like this, simple IT errors. And if there are any outstanding cases out there, you need to reimburse those customers. And in terms of your plans, please look at the likes of Starling and Chase and see what they're doing, all without charging customers any extra. If you have any questions around this, spending abroad or any other travel related activity, let me know in the comments below. As always, if this video has been helpful, then do give it a like and do subscribe for more videos like this in the future.